Alright, what's up people? We got a lot going on today. So, last video I drained the fluids to check it, transmission fluid and coolant, because I found a little bit of transmission fluid in my coolant. So here's what it looks like after sitting for a couple days. This is what was in the overflow. It's just that little bit on the top. These didn't have any other separation in them, so those are good. Transmission fluid looks good. That's after sitting for 2 days now. I also did leak test the oil pan. So I put it in the bathtub, filled it with water, had it like this, and basically filled it up to the top with water. And it only drained down to about this level right here, just below this seam. So it wasn't leaking at all below, and there was only one spot up here that was leaking. So I went through and boogered this thing up, and it should stop leaking because I did the inside and the outside. I also hit these other corners just for good measure all the way around it. So added a bead there and did the other side. You're really not going to see any of that, but I was surprised. I thought it was going to leak a lot more than that, to be honest. And it was just this one little spot, and I checked it for probably like an hour and had it completely dry, and I would dry everything off and see if it would leak, and there was only water coming from this one spot right here. So I think I did that. That should be pretty good. So what I'm going to do tonight is dry the bathtub out completely, and then I'm going to fill it with like a cup or something up to the top so I don't get any water around, and then I'll be able to check it the next day if there's any wetness at all in the tub. I know it's leaking somewhere. If not, we'll throw it on. Also, oil pressure. Oil. So, dropping the pan, because I broke that one bolt off. So, I dropped the pan, and I found something. So, I wasn't patient enough to go get the camera to actually show where this was, but all this plastic was inside of the pickup tube in the screen. And these are like big pieces of plastic, and I think I probably lost one. Yep, there's one on the ground right here. So all of this junk was inside the pickup tube, and it was blocking probably 3/4 of the tube or more. I don't know what this is. It's like plastic, crunchy black plastic. I'm trying to think what this could be from. I have no idea at this point. If you guys know or have a clue, it almost seems like it's like black electrical tape, but it's really hard. I don't know, it's weird, but it's got a nice clean edge on one side, and then it's ripped up on the other side. So I'm going to keep brainstorming and try to figure out what that is, but this was almost completely blocking the pickup tube, so that might explain the low oil pressure issue. So just for reference, this is a pickup tube from a different pan that I have. But look at this. Look at how much plastic this is compared to the size of the pickup. So this is all basically jammed in here. So it looked something like that, to be honest. I think it was like a little bit pushed over to one side more, but all of that plastic was inside there. So I'm pretty confident now that that is what my low oil pressure at idle. Like when I was driving, it was fine. It was just when I would come up to a stop sign and sit in idle at like 900 RPM, then it would start to flicker and go show low. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And because of that, I know you guys are going to yell and scream at me. I'm not going to pull the pickup tube down and check the O-ring. So I'm pretty confident it was that and not the O-ring. There's a pretty good chance. So I'm more concerned that I might damage the O-ring pulling it down or putting it back in. So it might be good and I pull it out and then I damage it putting it back in, and then I wouldn't know it anyways. So I'm going to take my chances on it. I'm not going to change the O-ring or check the O-ring. Just going to leave it how it is and go with that. Worst case, it's still doing the same thing, and then later down the road I'll pull it back out again. It only takes like 20 minutes, so I'm willing to deal with it. Okay, so I got the oil pan back on now. I did go through and put a little slimy bead of RTV down, just a thin layer on the bottom side and the top side of the oil pan gasket, just because I felt like it. I don't want to deal with it leaking, so hopefully that'll stop it. It did have some leak underneath it. I don't know why. I mean, it's a brand new gasket, but it was still leaking. But that was when there was a broken bolt, and yeah, so that's probably what the cause was. So now all the bolts are replaced. I didn't snap any more off. I have the oil pan back in the tub. I did fill it, and I counted when I was filling it with glasses, with pint glasses, and then I did the conversion. So it full to the top, it holds like 10.5 quarts. So just the sump section is about 7.5 quarts. So basically where the pinhole was yesterday and the amount that it leaked down to, it still had 7 quarts in it, over 7 quarts in it. So that hole's fixed now, and I'll probably run like 6 or 7 quarts in it anyways. Well, let's go check it out. Okay, so we have it full to the top. Basically, you can see the water line all the way around it. And tub is completely dry. I think I spilt a couple little drops of water here. So I'll dry that up. But tub is dry. I'm just gonna leave it like this overnight and we'll see if it leaks. Basically, the leak that I had before was coming out of this corner right here. So it actually leaked down to about a 1/2 inch below that little lip. And that little lip there is right where it is about 8-9 quarts-ish. So yeah, so we're just gonna run this thing, leave it overnight, see if it leaks. Okay, and here's the oil that I just pulled out of it. And the oil looks really good. There isn't any swirl or anything weird going on in it. So I'm not really concerned about where the oil pressure was at causing any damage. I don't see anything in the pan, and this is about a 1,000-mile change. Well, maybe probably closer to 800-900, just about 1,000. So I'll change this stuff and put new oil in it, fix that pickup tube that's fixed now, and hopefully we won't have any more issues. So other than that, guys, I'm just going to wait until tomorrow to put the oil in it, let the RTV kind of sit overnight and not touch any oil. I'll throw the coolant and the trans fluid back in, then we should be good, and hopefully no more leaks or anything like that. Oil pressure will be good. And then next thing I want to do with the truck is drive it, tune it a little more, and then do the narrow bands. I know I keep saying that, I just got to do it and got to get time, but I keep finding other stuff. So that's it for this one, guys. It's about that time of the night where we're not going to hear anything in a video but kids screaming inside the house. So we're going to cut it off here. Have a good one.